if you want to talk about Trump, we could talk about Trump. But if you just talk about Biden, I don't think comparing him to Trump does anybody any good. You just look at the Belize situation.
Does, because they're running against each other.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of necessary.
It could if you want to talk about in terms of an election, but you talk about in terms of the guy who's in office right now. Like, why don't I like him? Well, one of the things that I don't like has nothing to do with any of his choices, is that he's mentally compromised. I think there's something wrong, and I think it's clear.
As if the other guy isn't.
Well, okay, he speaks much clearer. He might be crazy.
Yes, let's forget our political differences. When you take a look at Biden and Trump, to me, they should not be compared. Maher sticking up for Biden, it is just what is going to happen next November. It is sad that he thinks Biden is the better choice. It is crazy to me to actually even see this. Joe Rogan educate him, though he actually didn't want to listen to what Joe Rogan is saying. You should not even take Trump and be put in comparison with Biden. I don't want to even go into political differences. Even if you are a Democrat, you should best know Biden is not the best choice.
If you want to talk about Trump, we could talk about Trump. But if you just talk about Biden, I don't think comparing him to Trump does anybody any good. You just look at the Belize situation.
Does, because they're running against each other.
Yeah, okay.
So it's kind of necessary.
It could if you want to talk about in terms of an election, but you talk about in terms of the guy who's in office right now. Like, why don't I like him? Well, one of the things that I don't like has nothing to do with any of his choices, is that he's mentally compromised. I think there's something wrong, and I think it's clear.
As if the other guy isn't.
Well, okay, he speaks much clearer. He might be crazy. He might be a sociopath.
He is crazy. He's crazy and stupid.
Say all those things, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that there's something wrong with Biden. Like, he makes up words. He stumbles through things. It seems like he doesn't know where he is half the time. He's very, very old. That's my problem with him.
Okay. Well, again, we're living in a world where perfect is not on the menu. These are the choices we're going to have. This is going to be who's running next time. You're going to have a doddering old man.
Do you definitely think that Biden's going to make it to the 2024 elections? Because I'm not convinced.
Well, who knows? Yeah, he might not, and so might not Trump.
Right. Both of them could die at any minute now.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're like 70, whatever years old, 78 years old.
One is 77, one is 80.
Yeah, that's the end of the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're on E.
I mean,
right? I mean, you might make it to town, but you might die on the side of the road. You're
There's
on
also blue zones where people live to 100.
They don't look like those guys.
No, they look better.
Yeah, they're thin and active.
Biden's thin.
That's true.
Trump is not.
But he's thin, like skeletal thin.
Yeah.
Like, he's thin, like frail. Like, where he looks like he's just going to fall down a lot.
I'll give you this point. Trump looks a lot and sounds a lot more hearty and robust and healthy. That's true. He's a city roach. He eat the worst things he eats, the stronger he gets. You cannot kill him. No, I agree.
He's also the only guy that didn't noticeably age the moment he got into the White House.
No, we did. We aged when he was in office. He was fine. You're right. He didn't look like he aged. He always looks the same. But he's a criminal, and he's crazy, and he's stupid. And crazy and stupid are two different things.
When you say crazy, what do you base?
Okay, let me give you an example. Stupid is like Frederick Douglass is alive, or the stealth bomber is literally invisible.
When you take a look at this article recently published by Politico, Trump lead Gulf primary field by 46 points as DeSantis drops. When you go down on this article, Donald Trump is dominating the Gulf primary field with the support of 59% of survey voters, according to Wall Street Journal poll released Saturday. The former president holds a 46-point lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, according to the Wall Street Journal, which polled 600 Republican primary voters at the end of August through telephone and web surveys. The survey found DeSantis down 13 points to Trump in April before he launched his candidacy, highlighting the governor's difficulties in an attempt to sway Trump voters and reflecting his recent polling trouble. Elsewhere, DeSantis' favorability also falls since the April survey, with the shares of respondents that reported a favorable view of him dropping from 84% to 70%. Trump favorability fell from 78% to 75% between these two polls. Now, I don't want to really focus on this article. I read this out so you can understand exactly where Trump is. According to Maher, Trump could have not been dominating on these polls, which is crazy. When you look at Trump, he sounds hearty, he's very strong than Biden. Sometimes, if not of the teleprompter that assists Joe, and sometimes he even goes off on it, I would not even know what to say here. I used to report on I was reporting on all these, but at a certain point, I realized it is just happening every single day. It was getting boring, to be showing you what is happening. Trump is a strong candidate. I just want Maher to acknowledge this and accept it than all these unnecessary arguments. I've always known Maher to be like this. When he stands up for the truth, he get backlash from Democrats. Some will say, oh, he's now this, he's now that. Maybe he's just doing all this to avoid this kind of backlash. That is what I'm assuming. Under this video, somebody wrote, Maher knows the truth about what is happening. He just can't cope and deal with it. He rather side with delusions than truth. Lost cause. It is funny watching B get upset and acting like a little kid when they don't get their way. Now, when you take a look at this video, you will clearly see what is happening. Maher knows that Trump is the candidate. But just because he wants to appeal to his base, he will obviously go contrary to Joe Rogan. Sometimes we need to come to a common ground, When situations like this are coming up, we need to be on the same page, forgetting about political parties to face the truth. There is one thing I noticed with Democrats. There are certain issues that we need to call right. They'll always tell you left. Simply because, I don't know, if they're actually scared, like, if I say the truth, a lot of people will hate me, or what exactly, I don't get. Maher sometimes can stand up for the truth, but in this case, I don't see him facing it.
This dude right here, he is the director of Black Voices for Trump. He is the only person that is being held in the Georgia prison. And before the liberals say, oh no, look, it's a racial issue. Stop. It's a black DA that's holding the black man down. Now, the question is, why are they holding this man down? Why is this the only man that's being held and not released? Because of this.